We all have an everyday carry. There's the majority of the population who don't think twice about what they carry, and then there are people like us who are obsessed with it. I will admit I was a part of the former up until a few years ago, but now I find myself spending hours watching videos on YouTube or browsing Reddit to optimize my own. My EDC has transitioned into high quality, buy it for life type of items over the past few years. I do not mind investing in quality pieces that will hold their value and last me for decades to come. Here are the items I use every day. A simple like goes so far for a growing channel like this one. If you want to feed my addiction of refreshing the analytics page multiple times a day, please consider subscribing. Let's get started. Keys are the first thing I reach for when leaving the house, so let's get started there. I carry my loose keys in an OrbitKey Organizer. I've been rocking this tan one for the past 4 years now, and I haven't had a single complaint or issue. I don't have as many now, but I've stuffed 6 keys in this thing back in my college days. The leather has held up really well, even though it didn't patina like I expected it to. I chose the OrbitKey because it was more compact and minimal compared to the other options out there. This new black one should help keep things feeling fresh. Attached to it, I have the keys to my 2018 Ford F-150 Raptor. Nearly 4 years and 70,000 miles of memories consisting of my daily commute, road trips, and a few off-road adventures. Saying I'm attached to it is an understatement. The interior is a huge step up from the previous generation, and Apple CarPlay helps keep everything feeling fresh. A few mods really helped it stand out from all the other Raptors in Texas. I absolutely love this thing. The newest addition to my keys are the Apple AirTags. Keys are the one thing I always lose, so when Apple introduced these, it was a no-brainer. Apple knocked these out of the park, and at $29, they are very easy to recommend if you're in the ecosystem. When it comes to my phone, I've been using the iPhone XS Max since it was launched in 2018. As a guy who loves tech, this is the longest I've owned a phone, but the XS leaves little to be desired. The A12 processor is still plenty snappy, and the camera and screen are on par with the latest models. I haven't found the need to upgrade as often as I used to. Although the 12 Pro had me considering, I decided to hold off until the 13 in hopes of a 120Hz display and a smaller notch. Moving along to my wallet. I've used everything from a traditional bifold to a card holder, but I always seem to come back to the pocket organizer from Louis Vuitton. It's the perfect middle between a full-fledged wallet and a card holder. It's only slightly thicker than a card holder, but provides you much more flexibility and room for miscellaneous things. I've used this every day for the past 2 or 3 years, and it looks nearly perfect. There is very little cracking on the glazing, which is a problem I've run into on many wallets in the past. I think the difference was that I stopped putting my wallet in my back pocket, in addition to this being the nicest and highest quality wallet I've owned. Let's talk watches. I pretty much exclusively rotate between the gold stainless steel Apple Watch Series 5 and the Rolex Datejust 2. I have a full video on the Datejust that I'll link, but it's a stunning piece with a lot of sentimental value. The Apple Watch is at a point where it's becoming a necessity purely for the health functions and the fitness tracking. This is my Monday to Friday watch, and I save the Datejust for evenings and weekends. I know a knife is the highlight of any EDC, so let's get right to the Chris Reeves Sebenza 31 with the bog oak inlay. I've always owned a basic pocket knife, but it wasn't until I started following Peter McKinnon's EDC account that I really started getting into the craftsmanship of pocket knives. It led me to purchasing my first real knife, the Benchmade Bug Out, which scratched the itch for a bit. However, all my research and seeing stunning pictures of Peter's kept me coming back to the Sebenza. It was the Rolex Submariner of the knife world. They make a small and large variant, so I decided to reach out to the man himself to get some advice on which to go for. After some conversation, he told me he was looking to downsize his collection and would be open to selling his. An offer for my dream pocket watch coming from the guy who got me into them was a no-brainer, and here it is. $500 for a knife might seem pretty insane, but when you start learning about the materials and tolerances used to craft this knife, the price starts to make more sense. The simplicity of it makes it super easy to take apart and put back together. Getting geeky for a second, the Sebenza sports a S35VN blade that has a stunning polished finish from the guys at Chris Reeves. The best way to describe the action on this thing would be to imagine 2 pieces of glass with a thin layer of water in between gliding on each other. picking this knife up, feeling the cool titanium and warm wood in your hands, and hearing the frame lock up with a bolt-like thud is one of the most satisfying experiences. I find myself fidgeting with the knife for hours on end. Although I don't carry a knife in my pocket, I always have one in proximity for demanding tasks such as opening Amazon packages or scraping tape off. 2020 led to some extra EDC pieces for all of us. I spent entirely way too much money on this mask from a company called UMask, after being easily influenced by my favorite F1 drivers wearing them all season. It's nice and breathable, and makes you look like Sub-Zero from Mortal Kombat. The last few miscellaneous items in my EDC are the tried and true AirPod Pros, a pair of Ray-Ban Wayfarers or Aviators depending on the vibe, and this Mont Blanc M pen. I've always been a big fan of this Mont Blanc because of its minimal Apple-like design. I later found out that the designer was Mark Newsom, who helped design the Apple Watch. I would never spend this much on a pen, but I found this one on eBay for a steal. It was likely discounted because it was the stylus version, and most people are not aware that they could easily be converted into a pen by swapping the cartridge. Made from a continuous piece of polished black resin and a set of magnets to assure the cap is always on the right way, it's a simple pen that does what it's intended to very well. I've used it every day since and love it. So that's everything in my current EDC. Things are bound to change as I find different items to test out, so I'll be sure to make an updated one in the future. Is there anything I should check out? What would you change in my current EDC? What does your EDC look like? I'd love to have a conversation below. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Thanks for watching. Cheers.